Okay, so I left off, it's kind of, just getting to know her, talking to her on the rare occasion that she wanted to talk and I wanted to talk. I'm kind of assuming this was because of the language barrier at the time. Her English wasn't great and my German was like non-existent, so, needless to say, there wasn't a lot of conversation. Um, but there was one time, that really stood out in my memory and it still stands out today. Um, to this very moment, I can just imagine exactly how it happened. Um, Best way to describe it is, if this is kind of a bad example because it's negative and my experience was positive, but like if you're a soldier and you remember a particularly horrific event, that event's always going to stick with you for the rest of your life and your dreams. Um, when you're awake, when you're doing anything, when you're eating, when you're sleeping, when you're playing games, whatever. It sticks with you and it's stuck there, forever. And you could so easily just ding, there it is in your head, and you can imagine it. So at this point, I'm kind of a person that was still just a little skeptical. I was like, I don't really understand. This is just a little radical for me. Um, I hadn't really went to church consistently for the past several years, ever since really just before my mother had a car accident. So anyway, and we have this thing like at lunchtime. Now, the lunch was like, I think they call it the blue collar service, where there are plates in the center, and if you want food, you pick up the plate and you pick it off of the plate and you put the plate back, and everyone gets to pick it up and pass it around the table, and everyone gets their food. And when you're out of food, you go get more food from the kitchen. That's how it was, and instead of having a waiter come pick it up, um, we actually, one of the people from the table who, really wasn't doing anything at the moment, just kind of picked it up and walked off and got some more food and came back. Sorry, I'm kind of sick right now, if you hadn't noticed. And salsa and taquitos don't really mix well with the stomach that's not feeling well. So anyway, just bear with me. Um, so, everyone's eating. We're having tacos. It's great. It's like Wednesday at lunchtime. Everything's just awesome. We're having friendly conversation. And I don't really have good friends at this point, but I have pretty good friends where I understand, like who they are. I just been with them so long, I know who they are pretty much. Um, and they were kind of friends. I didn't really speak to them that often because my parents were divorced and I didn't see them. But anyway, they were friends. Let's just say that. And there's no more tacos. And I had a taco and I wasn't hungry anymore. I didn't want anything. I was eating the last little bit of whatever else we had, so I was kind of busy eating. And there were other people who were done, and they're like, "Oh, we need some more tacos. We need some more tacos. Who wants to get the tacos?" I just said, "I'll get it. I'll just get the tacos. Hand me the plate. I'll go get them. Solve this whole conflict. Let me go get the tacos." Um, so I get the plate, and they're like, "Oh, thank you." And I'm like, "Don't worry about it. It's just tacos." Um, and I turn around, and as I turn around, she was sitting at the table directly behind me, and the chair directly behind me. So when I turn around, Anya turns around, be more specific, and she looks right in my eyes and smiles. And I was kind of stunned. I was like, "Whoa, how did you know I was turning around?" Um, but I didn't say anything. I was like, "Hey," and then I, walked off and got the tacos, came back. But the whole time I was thinking, wow, I've never really experienced anything like that before. Um, I'm a nerd. No one really smiles at me. No one really waves to me. Anything like that. Um, People don't usually take the time to say hello or when they're walking down the hallway or whatever. They just say, "Here's my homework, do it," or something like that, or "How do you solve this really complicated math problem that takes hours to decipher and it's due tomorrow?" Um, oh, and by the way, you have to do mine and five other people's, or something like that. They never say anything nice just out of, the kindness of their heart. Um, Unless they're one of the other people that are just like me that do everyone else's homework and pretty much losers. Um, and even then, it's just kind of acquaintances. I was kind of an awkward person for talking. Never really been good at it, and I still am. I'm not even now. Uh, I'm a klutz. I don't know how to talk to people. Um, so there you go. But she took the time just to smile and wave, and to me that meant the world to me because no one had ever really taken the time to even smile at me and wave, let alone you know. It's hard to describe unless you're there or you've been there. If you're a loser and no one cares about you, um, and you feel like my parents don't care about me, they care about fighting each other and fighting their problems, and they just give me food and give me a bed to sleep in, um, and you feel like no one cares about you enough to go out of their way to help you or to be your friend, more specifically, just to be your friend. And I guess this is a criticism that a lot of people have with the church. They say, well, you're not really helping just to help them, you're helping just to show them God. And that's a little how I felt. I mean, there were people that were really nice and they would say nice things, but it was kind of like they were just saying it because, they just felt bad or something like that. Um, they didn't really say it out of the kindness and genuine feeling of their heart, um, is my point. But she did, and even that one little bit, that smile, just kind of just changed my perspective around. And from that point on, I kind of, out of the corner of my eye, I always saw her as I walked by, and I always noticed if she was there or not. I always noticed, just kind of like a sixth sense, I guess you'd say. Like I always had this feeling, like, oh, there she is, or something like that. Um, so this mixed with timid awkwardness is kind of like not productive at all. Like just um, I'd look and then I'd feel really embarrassed because she saw me looking, and then I'd walk away. Um, so she didn't talk much, and if I'd say something, I'd sound really stupid, and and I would just not say anything else. My point being, I was just, I wasn't into talking to people really. I was just kind of quiet, and I went on my own way. I need a breath now. So 8 minutes of straight talking, plus a cold doesn't work out. Okay, so Friday is the end of the week at that camp, and pretty much that Sunday, I was gonna go back to my father's house, which is like 70 miles away. And at the end of that next week, she was gonna leave back for Germany because her school starts like late July, I'd say, mid to late July. Their school starts earlier than our school. So anyway, Friday rolls around and I realize, well, if I'm gonna tell her that I like her, I had realized that, oh, I like her. And I said, if I'm gonna tell her that I like her, I have to do it like right now. And it kind of struck me. I was playing a game with a bunch of people way far away from where she was at the time. I was like, if I'm gonna tell her, I have to tell her now. So I spent like 30 minutes just walking around trying to find her. Where's she at? Is she in the cabins? Is she at the lake? Is she at the swimming pool? Is she at the bathroom? Where's she at? The pavilion? The cafeteria? No one really knew. No one knew. Even the other German people and the British people didn't know. I was asking them, like, where's she at? Where's she at? Where's she at? So I kind of give up the search and I go back to check on the people I was supposed to be watching with several other counselors. I wasn't really a counselor. I was kind of like a junior assistant. They had badges. They would have given me a little badge, junior assistant, right here. Um, but I still had kind of like a function I had to do. So I kind of go attend to that. And then it strikes me again like, boom, if you're going to tell her right now. And so I say, okay, This is odd, but alright, I'll do it. So, I go walk over, and I go, I say, I'm gonna go use the bathroom. I'll be right back, guys. Because they were playing a game. I walk in the cafeteria, which is where the bathroom was at, and as soon as I do, she's like sitting right there, right on the bench, right there, right in front of the door, like the closest table to the door imaginable. You can't miss her if you walk in. Just like I was just like, whoa, there she is, and all of a sudden I got really panicky. I was like, oh no, what am I gonna say? What am I gonna say? Will someone hear me? Will someone tell me sexual harassment or something? Because technically I was working there and she was working there, so yeah, that it was kind of like, oh no, I'm freaking out. So I was like, I'm just gonna go in the bathroom and then I'll figure it out there. So I go in the bathroom and I'm sitting there feeling like a retard, praying. Um, what should I do? What should I do? I don't know what to do, God. Um, so then I walk back out and I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna go think of something to say, and then I'm gonna come back and say what I thought I was gonna say in the first place. So I leave, and then I go back like 30 minutes or so. I was just like, um, I guess you could say irritated. Like it was an odd feeling. Like I wasn't satisfied with anything. I wasn't satisfied playing fun games with little kids who always smiled at me. I wasn't fun doing anything other than trying to solve this problem. Like what am I gonna say? So I decide, okay, I'm going back in there. If she's still in there, I'll say it to her. So I go back in there, and my mind is set. And if you don't know, my family has this thing where if they set their mind to do something, they never, ever don't do it. Like, ever. I mean, if they say, I'm not ever going to eat again, they never eat again. Just seriously. Totally stubborn. Like, they're so in their mindset that it's ridiculous. So I'm just kind of like, I'm gonna do it. So I walk in there, and here I am, this loser, and my dad's always been angry at me, and my mom's always had drug problems and health problems, and my grandparents have health problems, and everyone has health problems, and they all think I'm the loser of the family. So I walk in, and I see her, and she's right there on that bench still. She's still on that bench. So I had a water bottle in my hand. I said, okay, I'm gonna go fill up this water bottle, and then I'm going to talk to her. And as I was filling it up, I started thinking, what if she's like my dad? What if she's like everyone else in society who's made fun of me? What am I going to do if she just gets up and just starts shouting at me? I mean, this was irrational. Like, it was totally irrational. Um, but it was like a psychological defense mechanism. Like, I didn't want to get hurt in it again, as my father had hurt me in that way. I didn't want to get hurt again as people in my classrooms, hurt me. So I said, I'm just not going to do it so that way I don't get hurt. That was my mindset. Why try to be perfect for her and perfect for everyone else in my life? So I just didn't do it. Um, so I said, okay, I don't want to be rejected by any more people. I have enough problems in my life. I'm just going to walk away. Um, so I walked away, and it didn't really hit me until a week after that, and then I realized, like, oh crap, that could be like the rest of my life that just walked away, and I've never had a feeling like that for anyone else in the whole world. Like, literally no one else. No one. Um, you could say true love at first sight wasn't quite that, but it was in that general area. So, I'm just like, what did I just do? I am so dumb. So, from that point on, I started trying to find her. I called the guy who had the trips organized for the foreigners, and he said, "Oh, I just know her first name." And of course, I knew he was like liar. Um, so I keep calling him, and I keep calling him because that was the only guy I knew to call, and he wouldn't answer me anymore. So I just kind of gave up on him. Well, I'll explain the rest later. Ciao.